Have you ever felt that, the deeper you go into science, the more questions pop up? Not just about what we know, but like how we know it, almost like the ground is shifting under our feet.
Hmm.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating, ambitious work. It's Mihai Draganescu's 1979 book, Profundimally Lumi Materiali, Depths of the Material World.
Right.
And it's incredibly bold. It pulls together physics, information theory, biology, philosophy. It really makes you rethink things.
And it's not just some historical curiosity, is it? I mean, the questions Draganescu was asking back then about information, consciousness, the universe, they're incredibly relevant today. They touch on the big frontiers we're still exploring.
Exactly.
So our mission today really is to pull out those surprising nuggets, the ideas that still challenge how we look at things, and maybe spark some new ways of thinking about reality itself.
Okay, so where do we start? He made this observation back in '79 about a kind of a second industrial revolution.
Yeah, that's a great place to begin.
He saw the big physics shifts, quantum mechanics, relativity, plus all the new electronics, basically setting the stage for this huge scientific and technical change. And guess what he thought was driving it?
AI, or
Artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
specifically AI in microelectronics. I mean, this is decades before AI was everywhere. He was already pinpointing it as a total game changer.
It's quite remarkable. And what's fascinating is how he saw that the growing importance of information wasn't just about tech. It was going to reshape our whole scientific view of the world.
How so?
Well, he argued that AI basically forces us to rethink everything. He even defined intelligence itself as an informational property of informational structures. It's not some vague magic.
It's an informational property.
Okay?
Yeah.
So as information becomes more central, our understanding of intelligence, how it works, where it can exist, that all has to change too.
That really hits home when you think about how we usually talk about science. He pointed out, and Leon Brunglon said something similar, that so much of our scientific thinking is built on mechanics, right?
Mm-hmm. Mechanical language, mechanical models.
Yeah, we use mechanical terms for everything, from planets down to atoms. It shapes how we even frame the questions. And Draganescu asks, well, should quantum physics really be quantum mechanics, or do we need something new? Maybe a quantum informational science?
That's a powerful challenge.
So the takeaway for us today could be that we might need to consciously update our metaphors, our cognitive tools, move beyond just the mechanical to grasp these deeper informational layers of reality. It's like needing a new language for science.
A fundamental shift in perspective.
Okay, so let's zoom out. Big picture. The universe itself. Is it finite, infinite, something else? It's kind of mind-boggling that science still doesn't have one definitive answer for that,
It really is. And Draganescu was right in the thick of those debates back then. Open universe, closed, maybe even a pulsating one.
Expanding forever, collapsing back,
Right.
cycling.
Yeah. And some really wild ideas came out of that period. Physics was playing with concepts like the universe emerging from the void, but not an empty void, more like a substance where energy fields could just pop out electron-positron pairs.
Oh, so the void itself creates stuff.
Kind of, like a generative sea. Or even stranger, models suggesting the whole universe might be equivalent to one single elementary particle.
Whoa.
And then astronomy was finding things like quasars and what he called black abysses are black holes. Their weirdness hinted at this deep, almost unbelievable link between tiny particles and these massive cosmic structures. The models were, as he put it, altogether unusual.
And this leads to a really key insight he had, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He looked at singularities like in black holes and said, these aren't just weird spots where our math breaks down.
Right, not just anomalies.
He saw them as nature basically shouting at us, saying, your current physics, not good enough.
Yeah.
He thought these cosmic puzzles were actually clues, pushing us towards a new revolution in physics, one that would finally show how the very small and the very large are deeply fundamentally connected.
Precisely. It ties into Einstein's idea, too, of a finite but unbounded universe, space curving back on itself.
Yeah.
That already messes with our everyday intuition.
Our straight line thinking.
Yeah. And then Draganescu introduces this really deep concept, orthoexistence.
Orthoexistence. Okay, unpack that.
It's not just another dimension. It's like a deeper layer of material reality, potentially beyond our usual space and time. Our space-time reality might just emerge from it.
Like ripples on a pond.
That's a good way to think about it. Our reality is the surface. Orthoexistence is the deep water underneath, the source. And this raises a really big question. Maybe our gut feeling of infinite space is just a limitation, a product of our biological machine, our brain's way of processing something much stranger.
Wow, okay. That's a lot to chew on. So from the cosmic scale, let's zoom right in
Hmm.
to the brain. Maybe the most complex thing we know.
Definitely up there.
And if the universe is weird, our brains are just as complex, maybe more so, always finding new layers. Even back in '79, neurobiology was showing that brain function wasn't just simple neuron circuits.
Right, it was way more intricate. They were finding things like local electric currents, dendrite interactions, even this idea of a second nervous system within the dendrites
So
themselves.
information processing happening in ways we hadn't even imagined.
Exactly, not just simple on-off signals down axons.
And this complexity, it connects somehow to philosophy, doesn't it? You mentioned Heisenberg.
Yeah, Werner Heisenberg, giant of quantum physics, he ended up saying something quite surprising philosophically. He suggested the smallest bits of matter aren't really things in the way we normally think,
Not objects.
more like forms, structures, or in Plato's sense ideas, things best described by math. It almost sounds like idealism, doesn't it? Coming from a hard-nosed physicist.
That is pretty startling. But Draganescu took that kind of idea in a different direction, right? A materialist one.
He did. He gets to similar concepts of underlying forms, but for him, they aren't abstract ideals. He calls it informator.
Informator.
Yeah, it's like form, but it inherently carries information, and it's born by a material substance. It's not just floating out there. And along with lumity, which is like a source material or energy, these make up the depths of reality.
Okay, let's break that down. Informator is form plus information, but physically real.
Exactly. And lumity is like the raw potential, the primordial energy or substance from which informator sculpts things. So matter isn't just inert stuff. It's fundamentally structured and meaningful right from the bottom up.
It organizes itself through information, not just force.
You got it. And this all builds towards his big unifying idea, the ring of the material world.
The ring. Okay, tell me about the ring.
Imagine a cycle. It starts in the depths, lumity and informator, then moves up to the quantum world, then the macroscopic world we see, which then interacts with us, the subject, human consciousness.
Well, we interact back.
Yes. And that interaction cycles back, influencing the depths. It's a self-consistent loop. No external creator needed.
So consciousness isn't just watching the show, it's part of the cycle.
Absolutely integral. It gives this incredible organic image of the material unity of the world and a framework for linking up all the different sciences.
That's a really powerful image. And one implication, our perception of space. Maybe that's just our brain's interpretation.
Could be. Our smooth, continuous space might be subjective. Maybe space is fundamentally quantum, patchy, or even, non-existent in the depths, just emerging from that orthoexistence.
Which brings us to maybe the weirdest part of quantum physics, entanglement, non-separability.
Yes. That spooky action at a distance.
Where you measure one particle and another one instantly knows no matter how far apart.
Right, and Draganescu looked at that and said, this isn't just some weird glitch in our theories.
What did he see it as?
He saw it as strong evidence that reality might be fundamentally and essentially inseparable whole. That there are deep physico-informational connections holding everything together in ways that defy our normal ideas about separate objects in space.
Like the universe is whispering that it's all connected?
Something like that. It really pushes back against thinking of things in total isolation.
Okay, so if reality is interconnected like that, what about our own minds? He makes a distinction, doesn't he, between consciousness and awareness.
Yes, a very subtle but crucial one between Kantinaya, consciousness, and aphiria, awareness.
Right, so consciousness, conditina, that's more like the stuff we learn, social constructs, information processing, something maybe AI could even replicate.
That's his suggestion. It's more informational, perhaps even learnable or creatable. But aphiria, that's different.
What is aphiria then?
He describes it as a more primal beingness, a fundamental feeling to be. For him, it's deeply individual, fundamentally physical, and it's the thing that actually generates self-consciousness.
So it's not just a fancy word. He's saying it's a real physical event, something a machine couldn't just simulate.
Exactly. He sees it as a primary phenomenon, unique to living systems, maybe even experimentally verifiable down the line, a physical process underpinning consciousness.
That's a fascinating idea. And it connects to his concept of the philosophical experiment, doesn't it? Which sounds a bit strange.
It does initially. It's not about lab coats and experiments in the usual sense.
So what is it?
It's about using the limits of our own reason, the boundaries built into our biological machine, our brain,
Yeah.
using those limits as a tool.
How? A tool for what?
to deduce things about deep reality that normal experiments might miss. It's like understanding vision by studying the eye's limitations, not just building bigger telescopes. Our cognitive limits become a lens onto what lies beyond them.
So embracing our limits to see further, like Kant, maybe.
Very much in that vein, yeah. Recognizing limitations not as failures, but as informative boundaries.
And he links this to Kurt Gödel's incompleteness theorem.
He does. Gödel showed that any sufficiently complex logical system can't be both complete and consistent. There are always true statements it can't prove.
Yeah, right, the limits of formal logic.
And Draganescu interprets this profoundly. He says it proves no closed automaton, whether a computer program or even our logical mind, can ever fully capture reality.
There's always something outside the system.
Always an opening, a living reality that goes beyond any fixed, formal description.
So what does that mean for us, for the universe? He talks about intro-open systems.
Yeah, that's the term he uses. Humans, society, the universe itself. They're intro-open.
Meaning
they have a fundamental connection to what he terms unstructured informatter.
Okay, unstructured. How's that different from regular informatter?
If structured informatter gives rise to the stable forms we see, unstructured informatter is like raw, unbound informational potential, a sort of creative background noise or potentiality.
Like a source of genuine novelty.
Exactly. It ensures that no system, including our own minds, is ever truly closed or completely predictable. It's where real emergence, real freedom comes from within the material world.
Okay, let's broaden that again. Society.
Yeah.
Humanity's future.
Yeah.
He had some concerns back in '79, didn't he? About robots.
Well, about the robotization of man, yeah. It wasn't just about literal robots.
That was the real worry.
He saw technology, especially AI, could free us from physical labor, even some intellectual tasks. That's good, but he worried we might end up just being biological automatons.
Doing routine tasks, losing our creative spark.
Precisely. Losing our full potential. The danger wasn't robots taking jobs, but the empty spaces left behind if we don't fill them with higher human pursuits. Creativity, intuition, meaning. A really stark warning from way back then.
It feels very relevant now.
Doesn't it? So for him, the purpose of AI shouldn't be just efficiency. It should be to extend our analytical abilities so that we are freed up for those higher things.
Creative, intuitive, spiritual pursuits.
Yes. To support the spiritual evolution of humanity, helping us dedicate ourselves to deeper knowledge, deeper creation. He wanted society to move beyond being just a functional system.
Towards being a civilization.
A civilization that actively nurtures spiritual life, knowledge, creation. Not just managing resources, but cultivating the best of what it means to be human.
That's a really high bar for society.
Yeah.
He even draws on philosophy here, right? Plato.
Yeah, he brings in Plato's ideas about moral beauty, the need for a spiritual dimension in life for individuals and society as a whole. It's about that full, rich human experience.
Going way beyond just economics or politics.
Absolutely. But he also integrates Marx's insight.
How does Marx fit in?
Marx understood morality isn't just some abstract ideal. It's deeply social and historical, shaped by our conditions. Draganescu synthesizes the Platonic ideal with the Marxian understanding of social reality.
So ancient wisdom meets modern social thought to shape a future vision.
Exactly. A vision of a civilization actively cultivating knowledge, creation, and moral beauty, which leaves us with a huge question today, doesn't it?
Which is?
How do we make sure our drive for efficiency, for technological progress, doesn't completely flatten those essential human needs? Creativity, deep understanding, spiritual life, moral beauty. How do we keep that balance?
It's the central challenge, maybe. Wow. We have really covered a lot of ground today, haven't we?
We certainly have.
I mean, from the deepest levels of matter, quantum weirdness, orthoexistence, through the brain, consciousness, apheria, all the way to AI, society's future, and Plato.
Wow.
All through Draganescu's lens from 1979. It's quite a trip.
It really is a remarkably coherent, if challenging, worldview. And his core message still stands, I think, that call for constant philosophical reflection, for imagination to guide where science and technology take us.
Making sure it serves our best, highest aspirations.
Right. Using it to liberate us for that creative and spiritual growth, not just locking us into new kinds of boxes.
So here's maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As we keep pushing science forward, building incredible AI, maybe we should ask, what are those deep, unstructured realities Draganescu talked about? The ones we might be missing?
Mm-hmm.
And could our own unique sense of beingness, that really hard to pin down apheria, could that be our most direct link to them? maybe even a physical link. What would it even mean to truly understand that connection and consciously cultivate it for ourselves and for our civilization?
That's a profound question to ponder.
Definitely something to think about as you navigate your own understanding of this incredibly complex world we're in.